Hi everyone, this is part 2 of the Toro Sportlawn 18 Revival series. Okay, so in this video, we're gonna focus on the engine and do the bare minimum we can to get it running. So the first thing that I want to tackle is the issue about the no spark. This engine is no spark, and it has a points and condenser ignition system, which I will show you more pictures of that later. Once we get this cover off and once we get the flywheel off, we can clean the points, and hopefully that does the trick to get this thing some spark and hopefully get it running. Okay, so the first step we're gonna do is be removing this top cover. Okay, so to remove the top cover, you're gonna need to remove the slot screw right there and the bolt right here, which is a 7/16. And there's also one on this side right up there underneath the fuel tank. Okay, so once you remove the top cover, you're gonna need to remove the nut that holds the flywheel on, and it is a 7/8 socket to get this off. Then after you remove that, you're gonna get a large screwdriver and a hammer, and you're gonna pry the screwdriver behind here and hit the end of there with a hammer, so then that little sharp blow will pop the flywheel right off. Okay, so once you get the flywheel off, you're now going to see the cover for the points and condenser, which is held on by 2 screws, and I'm just going to use a pair of pliers to remove the screws because I don't think I have a socket that small. Okay, so once you pop off this cover, you're now going to see the points and condenser. So if your points ignition system does not have any spark, usually what fixes it is you just have to lift these up and get a little piece of sandpaper in there and clean the contacts. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so basically all you're going to do is pry up the points and put a piece of sandpaper in between and pull like this. And you're going to do this a bunch of times until it looks like you've got most of the corrosion off of the points. Okay, so now I'm done cleaning the points, and I'm going to put the cover back on and then put the flywheel on, and then I'm going to spin it over with my drill to make it easier than pull starting this thing and to see if it has any spark or not. So let me do that real quick, and I'll get you back on when I'm ready to use the drill to spin the engine over. Okay, so another thing that I forgot to mention is that on these old Briggs and Stratton engines, to tell the year, there's going to be a number stamped on the back of the flywheel. So in my case, those are the 2 5s, so it's a 1955 model engine. So that means that this lawnmower is from 1955 and like 64 years old. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so if it doesn't spark after you've cleaned the points, just clean them again, and then it should spark really good for you. Okay, so how I check the spark is I have a drill here, and I just put the socket on that nut and put a spark plug in here, and then I just watch at the end of the spark plug to see if there's a spark. So I'll demonstrate that in a minute. Okay, so I didn't have spark actually, so now I'm going to remove the coil and clean the contacts or the laminates here that run above the flywheel magnet and see if that will give me spark. Okay, so when you're done tightening all the bolts for your ignition coil, to make sure that you have the right gap between the flywheel and the coil, you're going to want to get a business card or a piece of paper folded in half, and then use the thicker folded part of the paper and then just like slip it under here, and then that'll be the perfect gap. So I'm going to do that, and then hopefully we should have a spark, and if we don't, I'm going to clean the points again, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I tried cleaning the laminates on the coil. That didn't work, so now I'm going to take the points off again and give them a really good clean and just check everything to make sure all the wires are connected, and we'll cross our fingers that we got spark. Okay, so I'm just finishing the third cleaning of the points, and I've ran a rag through there to try to clean off any gunk. So now I'm going to reassemble all these little wires, and then we should have spark. Okay, I've got great news. We have spark. Yeah! Okay, so now we're going to maybe try to start this thing outside. So to do, I think I'm just going to take the spark plug off or put some carburetor cleaner down the carburetor. But first, I want to try and free up the throttle, because this thing has been sitting. The ad that I bought this thing off of said it hadn't been started for like 20 years. So yeah, the throttle's stuck, So I'm gonna try to free that up, and yeah, I'll get you back on if I do that, or if something interesting happens. Okay, so I had spark, as you guys saw, and now with these points ignition systems, they're not the most reliable things because I've actually now just lost spark. So I'm gonna go clean the points one more time, and that should give us permanent spark. And yeah. Okay, we have spark again. So now I'm gonna clean the spark plug, and maybe we'll wait till for tomorrow to start it. But while we're waiting for tomorrow, I'm just gonna clean this dirt off of here, and maybe fix the handle because one side is higher than the other. And then I'm gonna publish the video that I filmed before this, which was the intro. So anyway, yeah. So next, I'm gonna take the spark plug out and show you what it looks like. We'll clean it, and then we'll leave this project for tomorrow, when we'll take it outside and try to start it. Okay, so now I'm gonna vacuum this thing off before I take the spark plug out, so I don't get any crap in the engine. Okay, so here's the spark plug. It's sorry, focus. It's a J8 Champion, and yes, I'm gonna try to run this engine on this old spark plug because you can't buy these anymore. Well, you can, but they're on eBay and they're really expensive. So I want to try to use this one, and I'm hoping that it works. So I'm just gonna clean it up with a piece of sandpaper. I'm just gonna try to clean in between those 2 points right there where you see air. So yeah, and we'll pick this video up tomorrow when we try to start this thing outside. Okay, so it's the next day. It has stopped raining out. I've since taken off one of the cables to see how it works, and realized that I need to buy another one. I've lubricated the clutch, cleaned the spark plug, as you guys last saw, opened the gas tank, and the next video is going to be on this guy because it is pretty nasty in there. So we're going to soak it in some mineral spirits or something and try to clean that out, but we'll save that for a later date. I've removed this stick that was jamming up the blades and not allowing them to spin. Let's see. I've taken off the old belt because it was pretty shot and it was going to like fly apart or something if I started it. So I took it off to make this even safer. Yeah, so now I'm gonna go take this thing outside and we're gonna go fire it up. Okay, so the 2 fluids I'm gonna try to start this thing on is just some carburetor cleaner. Then I have some seafoam that I might spray in there too, just to help clean out the engine and get all the old junk out of there. Okay. So we're winding it up to start it. Now I'm gonna come up here. Gotta do it again. Okay, let's see if it runs. I'm using a drill because it's faster. A little more throttle. There we go. Oh, almost. Oh, it's so close. Yeah! I think that's a wrap for this video. That was awesome. This thing hasn't started in 20 years and it fired right up with the drill. So, okay, in the next video, we're gonna clean the gas tank out and clean the carburetor, and then hopefully it'll run on its own, not off of carb cleaner and a can. And then that'll be really cool. And then the video after that, I might order some new cables and show you guys how to replace the old ones. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.